All right. Okay, hopefully we are live. Let's wait. Okay, audio is good on YouTube's end. Let me copy the link and paste it in the comment. And I'll go pin it in a minute. Now let me share my Discord. There it is, Discord share. Okay, so I wanted to review. Yeah, I'm sharing my Discord, but actually, I want to review. Let me pin the comment. 1 second. The comment pin. All right. So I wanted to review the debate between vegans and what's her name? Science Snitch. So let's find it. How would we find it? Let me go to Vegan Gains channel. Let me share this tab. So I think I guess this is it. So he's still streaming, which is weird because how is he gonna? I don't know how he's gonna do it because usually he takes down all his debates. Anyway, uh,
Reason
oh,
why
this is
insurers
slow.
are denying the treatment. It's entirely due to cost.
Okay, so here's the debate. So in the beginning, he didn't have audio, which is kind of terrible. Uh, so by the way,
Yeah, so in our last
I helped science snitch or scientific snitch? Scientific snitch. So I helped her prepare for the debate. Some of what she says are points that we came up with. I mean, it's a strategy that we came up with together, and we planned this debate, and it went pretty much as I expected. I think she did very well. I think she kept him on the defense. He was defensive. He was stuttering. He was uh, okay. Let's go through this.
debate, you said that you were agnostic to free will. So how exactly do you determine your morals regarding that it's wrong to eat meat and right to eat plants?
So right away she changed what I suggested she use as the strategy. But fine, let's just listen to what she says. She says, so if you're agnostic to free will, then how do you? So I honestly I don't understand the question. So if I mean I don't believe in free will, but so what? Let's listen again.
How exactly do you determine your morals regarding that it's
How do I determine my morals? If there is no free will or if there is free will, I mean, my experience is the same. I don't understand why I don't understand why it would have an impact. I honestly don't understand why it would have an impact.
wrong to eat meat and right to eat plants?
And you could say, how do you define right and wrong if you're agnostic? Which is this is what we plan to say. So if you don't, if you're agnostic to free will, then how do you define right and wrong, or what? Like, there is no right and wrong. If there is no right and wrong, then there is no crime. You cannot commit a crime if there is no free will. And if there is no crime, there's no murder. If there's no murder, there is nothing wrong with being carnivorous. That was our plan. But she went off script. So she's saying, let's listen again.
Do you determine your morals regarding that it's wrong to eat meat and right to eat plants?
So his mic is dead for now. So how do you determine, like, I would just say, how can you have right and wrong if there is no free will? Just how do you have right and wrong? That's all. But fine.
Well, here's the thing. I know you love your hypothetical, so let's go with the hypothetical here. Somebody
So this is the nice hypothetical that I suggested that she use.
is grabbing my hand, forcing a knife into my hand, and then forcing me to kill another person. Is it me or the big, strong person who's forcing me to kill that person, the one who's at fault?
So I have no idea what
So
he's
is it
saying.
me who's forced to hold a knife, and despite all of my struggle, the person who's stronger than me is forcing me to kill the other person? So is it my fault?
So
So answer my question. Would you blame me or the person who's
so he's not answering her question. I don't know what he is saying.
forcing me? Who would go to jail?
Like, who would go to jail? Right. Good question. And this is the essence of being free will agnostic. If you're free will agnostic, of course, the person who is forced to commit a crime should not be judged as a criminal. He should immediately be set free.
Well, the issue is that if you're agnostic to free will, then every carnivore, every person who's eating meat is not technically doing wrong because it's all predetermined. How can you say that?
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly correct. If you believe there is no free will, then the universe is deterministic. That's the opposite of no free will. If there is no free will, then the universe is deterministic. If it's deterministic, then how can you accuse anyone of anything? How can you accuse carnivores of being carnivores? Exactly.
Whether it's wrong.
Right. How could you accuse them of doing something wrong?
Well, just as you said, if it's predetermined that I'm going to kill somebody because the person behind me is
Notice he doesn't have audio. This is why I always do an audio check, because you can always lose your audio signal. It happens so often. Let me make sure. Did I make sure that I have an audio? Did I do an audio check? I did a little bit of an audio check. Let me do it again. Yeah. So even it could even happen to Vegan Gains who streams a lot. So that's why I always check.
forcing me to kill somebody, how is it my fault?
Finally, he realizes he doesn't have audio. His mic is dead.
Okay, that should fix it. My audio settings fucked up. Okay, I have to summarize. Sorry for my stream. So you just asked me about free will and how I can believe something's right or wrong with a lack of agency. So with, like, the universe being predetermined.
Well, not
I
necessarily. It's
The universe being quick turning? The universe being, I didn't get it. Wait, let me see. Oh, there's no C. There's no
more so like, how can you
CC.
determine that it's wrong for carnivores to be eating meat, and how
So when he speaks, the best strategy is to let him speak, let him complete his thoughts, let him make every mistake conceivable, and then pick even one word and attack it. That's my strategy. My strategy is to always let the other side speak as much as possible. Let them make every mistake. Let them bury themselves. And I think she cut him off.
the universe being predetermined.
well, not
I
necessarily. It's more
The universe being, but right, I would have wanted to hear him to the end, because she already she already killed him. I mean, this this by itself is a dead end for him. If he admits to being free will agnostic, then he must be crime agnostic. So all she needs to do is let him speak.
so like, how can you determine that it's wrong for carnivores to be eating meat, and how can you punish?
That's not the question. I wouldn't say how can you determine, because he would say, what do you mean? I'm just a machine. I follow my programming. That's how I determine. How can my iPhone determine what it determines? It's pre-programmed. I wouldn't formulate the question like that. The question is, how can you define? How can you claim there is crime if there is no free will? Free will, I mean, you need free will for there to be a crime. If there is no free will, if the universe is just a mechanical contraption, then what is crime?
Punish them for that. You're
Yeah,
punishing them for something.
yeah. So it's not really about punishment. It's just about protecting the rights of other sentient beings. So I'm not really thinking of it through a punishment mindset. And again, like, can you point out the contradiction? Like, what's the contradiction?
So he answered the question and he goes, okay, point out the contradiction. Okay, she's trying to point out the contradiction and she's saying there is a contradiction. Maybe it's not clear to him what is the contradiction, and he's like he's trying to understand what the contradiction is. I mean, he is aware of a contradiction, as we said, but she's not pointing it out, and he's trying to figure out what is the contradiction that she's trying to say. And I agree with him at this point. It's difficult to figure out what is the contradiction. Let me just get rid of this.
Well, it's the fact that last time you said you would be okay with killing a bear. That's a sentient living being.
Right. And I told you the bear would kill, say, 1,000.
Right, so I don't understand what she's saying. She's saying you'd be okay with killing a bear, yeah. I don't understand how this is. I don't understand. I am not following her logic at this point.
And other sentient beings. So in the interest of protecting the most amount of rights, I'd be in favor of killing the bear. So what's
Right, that's his pre-programming. He says, well, I've been pre-programmed to try and minimize animal right abuses or violations. So I want to, so that dictates that I have to kill bears.
the contradiction?
So your solution to murder is murder?
Yeah. If that's the only
So she says your solution to murder is murder. But there is no murder. See, if he perceives there is no free will, then there is no murder. Murder is a crime. Killing is an act, but murder is a crime. Murder is illegal. Killing is legal. I mean, if I kill someone out of self-defense, that's legal. But if I murder someone, that you don't murder someone out of self-defense. So murder is defined as the illegal killing. So once she concedes that there is murder, then it doesn't make sense. I mean, if we're trying to follow his thinking is that there is no free will, then there is no murder. So now you're conceding that there is murder, so I'm not following. There cannot be murder. The word murder cannot be defined if we are free will agnostic.
only way to prevent those rights violations? Like, are you against, like, murdering human beings?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
against the death penalty.
Well, we're not talking about the death penalty.
So again, she handed him the definition of murder. She should have taken away the word murder from his dictionary. In his dictionary, the word murder is undefined because it's a crime. And in his dictionary, the word crime is undefined because crime needs free will, free agency. So she is consistently handing him his life jacket. So so that's a problem for her.
Penalty necessarily.
Well, that's basically the same thing here. A bear is killing
Okay,
many
so are you against killing Nazis? Like, would you be against, like, killing Hitler or any other Nazis who are Holocausting Jews?
Okay, at this point, I'm already lost. I don't understand where they're going. And his go-to is talk about Nazis and, inflame the debate. Instead of making it technical, he likes bringing in everything that could make the debate more emotional and less thoughtful. Nevertheless, let's try. So why is he saying? So are you? So he says, like in his philosophy, he says, I want to kill people that kill. I want to minimize the killing. Let's not use the word murder. I want to just minimize the killing. I want to. That's why he wants to kill all carnivorous animals because he doesn't like animals being killed, which is a rights violation. So he's asking her, so what would you do with Nazis? So again, when he says Nazis, she has to say, what do you mean Nazis? He would say, well, these were people that committed crimes. And she has to say, what do you mean crime? And he would say, bad things. And she should say, what do you mean bad? There is no good and bad if you are agnostic to free will. So the word Nazis shouldn't mean anything to you. So that's what she needs to do. I mean, that is what we practiced. Unfortunately, she's not following the script.
So you would personally want to torture a Nazi?
No. When the hell did I say that? I said I'd be in favor of killing Nazis to save Jews.
So you're in favor of murder?
Yeah, he is in favor of murdering murderers, which, yeah, I mean, it makes sense. If you're giving him the ability to define murder, then of course he would punish murderers.
Yes, if it prevents more murder.
So what's wrong with just locking them up?
Sorry, you can't. There's far too.
I mean, this is already completely. I don't follow. I mean, if you want to punish criminals, then again, you're handing him the definition of a crime. It doesn't matter now what is the punishment. The fact is, anyway, I don't know. I mean, towards the end, it gets better, but she is struggling to take off the runway.
Too many wild animals to actually keep them in captivity. If it were feasible, then sure, I'd be.
She's letting him go on and disseminate his, his philosophy, which is I don't see the point for her. I mean, what's the point?
In favor of it, and assuming we can feed them a vegan diet, like with them on vegan cat food, but it's just not. It's not plausible.
So once again,
which is very interesting. So according to him, so it's not plausible to put all the bears on a vegan diet. But you're asking humans to go on a vegan diet. Why are you distinguishing between humans and bears? So just like you want to kill bears, you should want to kill humans. At this point, I would ask him, name the trait. Name the trait, Richard. Why are you wanting to kill carnivorous animals and not humans? So according to you, you would go on a genocide against humans because it's not plausible and whatever. I mean, what's the name the trait? Why are you distinguishing between bears and humans? And he would say something about practicality, but this debate right now is not taking off well.
again, how
Wait,
exactly?
you said I made a contradiction. What is the contradiction?
Good. So when he says that, now she has a chance to attack him again, and he's really curious about this contradiction. He is reacting to her claim that he contradicted himself, which is great because all we need to do is point out the contradiction, that if you are agnostic to free will, then you must be crime agnostic, and you must be murder agnostic, you must be carnivorous bad agnostic. You cannot claim that carnivores are bad and be agnostic to free will simultaneously. That's a contradiction.
The fact that you're saying that you're agnostic to free will, do you believe that free will exists?
What's the contradiction?
Do you believe that free will exists?
I said I'm agnostic, but what's the contradiction? Do you know what contradiction is?
Yes, the fact that you are quite literally saying that you want to murder another sentient being for not having free will.
That's not a contradiction. Do you know?
You want to murder another being for not having what? What did you say?
Yes, the fact that you are quite literally saying that you want to murder another sentient being for not having free will.
That's not a contradiction.
she's she's saying you want to murder another being because it doesn't have free will? I have no idea what she's saying. I don't think she's focusing. He is uh the problem is when he the problem starts with like this platform that he is the host and he pressures when you talk to him. He's not interested in a nice philosophical discussion. He wants to win every debate. It doesn't matter what even the position is. He just enjoys winning debates, which is understandable. I mean, he's not a truth seeker. He is a performer, and on his channel, that's his thing. He debates and he claims to win debates. He claims to win debates. So, as part of his tactic, he pressures the opponents, his debate opponents. And I think she's reacting to the pressure, and she just said a sentence that I cannot figure out. You want to kill another being because the being doesn't have any free will. I don't know what that means. Hold on, I have a message. Is that a message for me? No, not a message for me. So, yeah, it's really strange. And he's saying that's not a contradiction. I don't, I wouldn't say that's not a contradiction. I mean, at this point, I mean, they're just throwing punches at each other and missing. And so, okay, fine. Because, I mean, he should say, what do you mean? I want to kill a being because it doesn't have free will. That's not why I want to kill beings. I want to kill beings because they murder. Only the murdering beings I want to kill. So I don't. That's what he should say.
Do you know what a contradiction is?
And then he goes on. Do you know what a contradiction is? Which is, I mean, like, it, this is again. This is just a tactic to pressure your opponent. I mean, it's like, no, I don't know what a contradiction is. I don't know what words mean. But fine.
Yes, the fact that you're quite literally saying that.
Can you define what a contradiction is? Because you clearly don't know what a contradiction is.
All right, I'll just pull up the definition right now. A combination of statements, ideas, or features of a situation that are opposed to one another. Saying that you want to.
Right. So how do I have
murder
two opposing views at the same time? What are the two opposing views?
The fact that you want to solve murder with murder, and that you believe that
That's not a contradiction.
The fact that you want to solve murder with murder, yeah, there's no contradiction there.
So I outlined my belief. I said I'm against murder. The most practical way to reduce murders is by murdering murderers. So if we have a murderer who's going to kill 1,000 people, I could prevent 1,000 murders.
Yeah, he's yeah, right. In his mind, everything makes sense, and I agree with him at this point.
By killing the one murderer. So how is that a contradiction? What is the contradiction? Like, would you be in favor? Would you have been in favor of killing Hitler to save 6 million Jews?
Right. Again, he's making it emotional, which is unnecessary. I mean, but at this point, maybe he's not even trying to become emotional. Maybe he's trying to show the logic. He woke up one day and he said, "Wait a minute. It makes sense to murder Hitler. So by the same logic, it makes sense to murder all murderers, and by the same logic, it makes sense to murder bears. It's the same logic. So let's kill all the bears." That's his logic. It comes from everybody agrees we need to kill Hitler. Okay.
About Hitler, we're not talking about Nazis.
Well, it's the same principle. So
And she's trying to avoid answering the hypothetical, which is not a good idea. You should always try to engage with every hypothetical.
would you be in favor of killing Hitler to save 6 million Jews?
So you're saying that Hitler is a carnivorous animal?
Well, he's
Wait, what? Are you saying Hitler is a carnivorous animal? That's basically what he's claiming. He's trying to get you to admit. Wait, message? No, he's trying to get you to admit that you would kill Hitler to save the Jews. So, with the same logic, you should agree to kill a bear to save the animals that the bear would kill. Makes sense.
arguably worse, but
I don't know how long we're gonna go through this. I mean, I watched the whole debate, but I don't know. Oh, we have a visitor. You is live. Yeah, you is live. And I cannot come on. I have to dilate my new black hole. Oh my God. Oh my God. The dilation. I don't even know how do you do that? But I need to train you to get a thigh gap if you want a thigh gap. You need to let me know if you want one. If you do, I can teach you how to make one. It's painless and you can do it. I have faith in you. I wish it played a sound every time I got a message. Unfortunately, there is no such feature. No such feature. Oh, I'll have it on my phone. On my phone, I will have it. So we need to go to my channel on my phone. I guess this is it. Oh, there I am. We can hear me speaking on my phone. Okay, there it is. Very nice, very nice. Hopefully, I'll be able to notice when notifications drop in. Let's continue. Let us continue. Where were we? This guy, I guess.
It's the same principle. So the principle I'm espousing,
So
it's the
you're saying
same
that-
principle. So I want to kill killers to prevent more killings. Hitler's a murderer. If you kill Hitler, you could save 6 million Jews. Would you be in favor of killing Hitler?
Yes.
Okay,
Hypothetically.
then
Right, then you should be for killing bears.
you agree with me that it makes logical sense if you're against murder to kill a murderer before they can commit more murders.
Well, first of all, we have to distinct the fact that carnivorous acts between animals are completely different from murdering a person and then leaving their body on the side of the road.
How?
Not to-
What's the meaningful difference?
Right, at this point, she's saying animals behave differently, I guess, than humans, which he can attack with name the trait. So, yeah, that I wouldn't go there, but fine, she went there.
The fact that you are scientifically, you're giving life to another life through carnivorous acts. It's completely different from murder.
I'm sorry. What? Can you
I'm
explain?
sorry, but humans aren't animals in
Yeah,
that
we
same
are.
sense.
Humans aren't animals. That's not a scientific claim. I mean, humans are an animal, obviously.
Well, yeah,
We're
we are.
not
We're apes.
carnivorous. Okay, so you're saying that Hitler was a carnivorous animal.
Well, yeah, you ate meat.
So you're saying he was a lion?
No. So
So
can you,
then-
Basically, he is. Yeah, he is comparable to a carnivorous animal. That's it. He should say yes. That's where I'm heading. I mean, you have to agree that it was good to kill Hitler, and for the same logic, it's good to kill a bear.
wait. Can you stop mischaracterizing everything I'm saying? So when I say Hitler ate meat, how does that turn into, oh, Hitler's a lion?
Yeah, he doesn't need to react like that. I mean, at this point, they're not following. I don't think they're following each other, but he has a lead on her. If I would be keeping track of points.
Right, so basically what you were saying before is you were in favor of killing a bear, correct?
Yeah, so I'd be in favor of killing a bear to prevent the bear from killing more animals.
At what point in his life?
Any point.
So you'd be in favor of killing Hitler when he's a baby.
Yeah, absolutely. Knowing that he would kill 6 million Jews along with 4 million other people in the Holocaust and create a world war that caused, I don't
I mean, that's a problem. Every time there is a movie and they go back in time to kill Hitler when he's just a politician or a baby, I mean, then you're just a murderer. Then people would look at you, why did you just murder this little baby? Like, are you insane? Who murders babies? I mean, except for the Hamas, of course. I mean, they just murder Jewish babies. Let's be, accurate. But so it doesn't make any sense to go back in time and murder a baby. You're going to be punished for it. And anyway, it's complicated. I mean, obviously, if you go back in time, that doesn't make any sense, right? Let's ignore it. But fine, if we knew for sure that a person will grow up to become a murderer, yeah, it makes sense to kill them when they're a baby. You kill the baby and you save many lives. And obviously, you will be punished. Society will punish you because society, unless you're able to convince society that that baby would have killed many people. Let's see if we have. No, we don't have any more messages.
I don't know how many more millions of deaths. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so let's take this principle to psychopaths. You would be in favor of killing a psychopath because they could actually kill more humans?
Well, no, because there are plenty of psychopaths who never commit a crime. So if I could see into the future and I knew somebody was going to commit a murder at some point in the future, and there's no other way to stop the murder, then sure, at least at some point in their life, I would be in favor of killing them. Ideally, like right before they commit the murder.
So because an animal needs meat to live, and you know that they're going to kill animals, you think that it's right to kill off 63% of all animal life on planet Earth?
Yeah, so I never said that. I said I'd be in favor of killing carnivorous animals when it would reduce rights violations.
What about herbivores and their rights violations?
Yeah, so herbivores can kill other animals. That does happen, but there's no 100% guarantee. So with carnivores, we know for a fact that they will kill. Herbivores, you don't know whether or not they will kill.
So what about grape?
Sorry?
I'm saying that. What about grape? I'm saying that because I'm on TikTok Live. I'm trying not to get taken off.
What about graping? Oh my God, YouTube. So what about graping? But I mean, I don't understand why she's opening up more and more frontiers in this debate, but fine.
Okay, well, I don't know, like, do deer grape each other?
Beavers do. Ducks do.
Okay,
So
well,
are you
you'd probably be contributing to more rights violations by killing them just to prevent grape, so I'd be against doing that.
So you're in favor of killing carnivorous animals, but you don't want to put the other animals which naturally would commit grape just to mates in jail? Wouldn't that be equivocal? Like
No.
almost equivocal?
No, you
That's
would
not-
probably be contributing to a greater amount of rights violations by killing them.
Not saying to kill them. I mean, we put other grapists in jail. So why don't you put ducks and beavers in jail?
Well, probably because it's not practical.
Yeah, and why do
This is a very interesting thing that is coming out, that he is practical. I mean, what does that mean? What's I thought you want to minimize rights violations. I don't understand. What is this being practical? This is a new calculus that I've never heard him bring up before. So, when what does this? What is driving your practical calculus? Why do you want to be practical? I don't understand this practical calculus. He comes up. That's one of the problems when you debate people. They just come up nilly-willy with drivers, with ideas that drive them. Like every morning, this morning I have this idea, and like, what's the foundation? Where is this coming from? Like with rights violations, like what's driving your need to minimize rights violations? What where is everything coming from? I like you're just making up rules that you expect society to follow. It's not even rules. It's like it's an underlying calculus. It's like you want to minimize rights violation. Why? You want, I mean, that thing with the practical, I mean, practical is fine. I mean, I guess, but this thing with the rights violations, I mean, minimizing rights violations. That anyway, we'll come back to it. Let's continue.
you find it to be practical to kill off carnivores who naturally survive?
Oh, I wanted to see how long we've been streaming. Oh, 33 minutes. I don't know how long. Maybe I'll skip around. I don't know, because okay, let's continue for now.
Well, because we can. We've made certain species extinct. So wait, the root issue here was that I made a contradiction. Do you acknowledge that I did not make a contradiction?
No, you did make a contradiction.
So what's the contradiction?
Well, murder is unlawful killing. How do you know that these carnivorous beings?
Point out the contradiction. It should only take you one sentence. Just say the two opposing views. What's the contradiction?
You said that you were agnostic to free will and simultaneously believe that there's right and wrong, and then also blame
That's not a
carnivores.
contradiction.
All she needs to say is exactly what she said and stop after that. You are agnostic to free will and you said there's right and wrong. That's a contradiction. And he says that's not a contradiction. That's all this debate should be about.
Yes, it is.
No, so outline how being agnostic to free will is a contradiction with believing in right and wrong.
Right. That's what this debate should be about. And now she just needs to pull up her hypothetical with the guy, with me being manipulated by someone much stronger than me, and he put a knife in my hand, and he took my hand and he stabbed someone. So I murdered a person. Yeah, but it was against my will. I was trying to resist, but nothing I did I could help. I couldn't stop because he's much, much stronger. So when this comes to court, of course the court is going to dismiss it right away because I did not have free will to kill. I did not have free will to murder. So this is not murder. So with no free will, there cannot be murder. Because anytime you say there is no free will, but then you say, yeah, there is murder. How? Every murder is akin to the murderer being manipulated by a strong force, which is this deterministic universe. The deterministic universe did this. It wasn't, well, you can't blame me. I'm just a machine. I'm a pre-programmed machine. What's what's the point? It doesn't make sense to accuse me to say that I'm bad.
How is it not a contradiction that you want to preserve sentient life, but you want to murder?
You
sentient
literally
life?
just said you'd be in favor of killing Hitler to save.
And again, she goes off script. I don't understand. We had this discussion so many times, and she decided to go off script. I don't understand why.
6 million Jews. It's the
That's
same
not
exact
the same.
principle. It's the
Animals are not
same
all-
exact principle. So I
No,
would be
it's
in
not.
favor of killing, say, a lion to save 1,000 or so gazelle. Same exact principle. So again, what's the contradiction? If you're going to claim I'm contradicting myself, point out the contradiction.
I am pointing out the contradiction.
No, you're not.
The fact that, yes, I am.
No, you haven't. You've just said I'm agnostic to free will, and then you talk about how you disagree with my opinion on killing carnivorous animals. That's not a contradiction. Those aren't directly opposing views.
All right, well, let me go with this. How did you decide that murder is wrong?
I have a preference against
Everything is
murder.
predetermined. All right, so everything is predetermined. How did you decide that murder is wrong?
I have a preference against murder.
Right. He has been pre-programmed. And the way I would answer if I were him, I have been pre-programmed to have a preference against murder. Done.
And how did you decide if you are agnostic to free will?
I
did
don't
you
know how
decide?
that's relevant. I just told you I have a preference against murder.
Well, you can't be agnostic to free will and say, prove it to me when I asked, when basically I said that, hey,
Now she's saying, how did you decide to be agnostic to free will? I mean, the answers are always going to be the same. I've been pre-programmed to believe that I am agnostic to free will or to be free will agnostic. It's just my pre-programming.
potentially free will exists. And by the way,
Again, what's the contradiction?
but you can't be agnostic to free will.
It's good that he keeps opening the door for her, asking what is his contradiction, because she can do it. I don't know why she's refusing to say it. I don't know.
Also acknowledge that something is wrong when there's also another choice, which would be right. You can't choose between two things if you're agnostic to free will.
So if somebody didn't have free will and they
That's a good point that she just made. You cannot be free will agnostic and claim that there is choice.
raped children, would you say what they're doing is wrong?
I'm not the one who said don't shift the.
Good. We had a discussion about that. What would you do if he shifts the discussion to you? And she's answering correctly. Don't shift the discussion to me. This is about you. You said you are free will agnostic. We're looking for a contradiction in your position. So, right? So there's no need to talk about anybody else in the universe. So I expected him to keep doing this. So this we trained on that to not accept changing the discussion to her belief system. This is about his belief system and the fact that there is an inherent contradiction within his belief system.
Don't shift the
Right,
conversation
okay,
onto
so
me.
you can acknowledge something's wrong whether or not somebody has agency.
Well, I'm asking you.
So you acknowledge something is wrong when there is no agency? What did he say?
I'm not the one who said don't shift the
Right,
conversation
okay,
onto
so
me.
you can acknowledge something's wrong whether or not somebody has agency.
Well, I'm asking
No, if I don't have agency, of course you cannot blame me that I did something wrong.
you. How can you be agnostic to free will while also acknowledging that there is a right and wrong choice?
Okay, so that's not a
Good. That's it. That's the contradiction. This is what she needs to keep harping.
contradiction for one thing. You still haven't pointed out the contradiction. And
That is
secondly,
contradiction.
I just told you
So he just refuses to admit that it's a contradiction. So at this point, I don't know what to say. I mean, so at this point, she needs to bring up the case with the with the person, with me being manipulated to murder someone, physically manipulated to murder someone. Is that murder? If I'm physically coerced to murder someone, am I the murderer?
It's based on my own set of preferences. So I don't like murder. That's why I'm against murder. How was that
We said that's all you need to do. I don't know why she decided to um go off script.
a contradiction against my belief that I'm not sure
You
free
wanna
will
murder the
exists?
murderer
Sorry?
because you want to murder the murderer.
Yeah,
And
to prevent
on top
more
of that, you
murders.
said you're agnostic to free will. How can you be agnostic to free will? And
Oh, okay,
acknowledge
okay.
that
Let's say we lived in a hypothetical universe.
I don't understand her question. I mean, if she's going off script and she's asking how can you say there is no free will and you want to murder the murderer or something like that? I mean, I don't see the point. It makes sense to want to murder the murderer, even if there is no free will. The problem is if there is no free will, there is no murderer. So the word murder should not be on the table. That's all you need to say.
Where everything was predetermined, nobody had any free will. In that universe, would you prefer to have a universe with fewer murders or more murders?
Exactly. Yeah, he's correct.
onto me. If you shift the conversation onto me, then you are conceding to the fact that
No.
if you are agnostic to free will,
No,
then
no, I'm just making a point. Do you like if I have a certain set of preferences, like I don't like murder, and I would rather live in a world where there's less murder, why would I not choose the world with less murder?
exactly
I mean, he makes sense, but she says exactly what?
the point. How did you choose that? If there's no free will.
If there is no free will, you can still choose. You could say that I didn't have a choice to choose. So you might have a problem with the word choose. But he says I've been pre-programmed to have a certain preference. So I'm just following my pre-programming. So my choice is just executing the commands of my pre-programming. There's no contradiction.
Will.
Yeah,
How
so
do you determine anything if there's no free will?
what do you mean? How do I determine anything if there's no free will?
Okay, if you're agnostic to free will and everything is predetermined, it's in a statement. How do you determine anything?
Well,
My programming has been predetermined and I'm just following my programming and according to my free programming, I don't like murderers and I want to kill and I want to murder murderers. And he's correct.
Predetermined.
it's basically like the pool analogy. So if you shoot a white ball into a set like a triangle of pool balls, that like just based on the physics, you'll know exactly where each ball is going to go on the pool table. It's basically the same thing. So my thoughts, feelings, emotions, my perception of right and wrong, all these things are just predetermined, and choice is an illusion. That's the basic argument in favor of determinism. So
All right,
again,
so
how is it a contradictory? How is it a contradictory position to be agnostic to whether or not free will exists and have a preference against murder?
Because you can't
No, he's correct. At this point, he is correct.
decide on a preference without free will.
I never said I decided on a preference.
Well, then how do you come up with your preference? Enlighten me.
I just have that preference.
How?
Because he's been pre-programmed. He is correct.
What do you mean how? Like did you decide every single one of your preferences? Did you decide whether or not you like ice cream? Did you?
Yeah, he's winning this debate, hands down. Okay, we're 43 minutes in. I don't know how long I can take it. This is very painful.
Decide whether or not you like or dislike murder? Did you decide whether or not you like or dislike grape?
You're the one who said you're agnostic to free will.
Sorry. So your preferences to a significant degree are predetermined, like your sexual preferences. Did you choose your sexual preferences?
Right, exactly. I mean, obviously, this universe is predetermined. You can prove it many ways. One of the ways is that we are, right? We like certain foods. We didn't choose to like these foods. We have sexual preference. We didn't choose to like these preference. And you can go down through the entire list of all our preferences, and you will see that all our preferences are pre-programmed. We didn't choose any of our preferences.
I have no idea. You tell me. I'm still
waiting. Did you or did you not choose your sexual preferences?
How are you agnostic to free will if there is how do you determine your
preferences?
preferences?
What is the contradiction?
I don't understand why she went off script. Really terrible.
It doesn't matter how I came to my preferences. I just told you, and I just told
exactly. It doesn't matter how I came to my preferences, or I have been pre-programmed to have these preferences.
Choice could very well be an illusion. You may not have a choice. So whether
right, choice is an illusion. That's correct.
Or not I perceive there to be a choice for my preferences, there may not be a choice. It's just a perception of choice.
So you're okay with murdering sentient beings who may or may not have a choice?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't care. Why should he? Because right, this is coming back to her point that if you're free will agnostic, then how can you blame any creature of anything? So why are you accusing them of murder?
Like again, if let's just assume we live in a predetermined universe, what would be your preference? A world with more murder or a world with less murder?
There is no murder in a predetermined universe. There is no crime. There is no good and bad.
A world with more grape or a world with less grape? Doesn't matter if choice.
There is no grape because there is no crime. We're just, as you said, we're just balls bouncing off each other. That's all this universe is. Literally, that's what we see. That is this universe, as he said. So he conceded that this universe is is a machine. It's a mechanical contraption, like a pool table with pool balls bouncing off each other. So he conceded that. So if so, then how can you have murder? What is murder? Right? What is crime? What is bad? What is good? That doesn't make it. These words do not compute. That's what she needs to say.
Exists or not, I have a certain set of preferences that I want to see.
Yes, it does. If it's a predetermined world, there is no choice.
Okay, so if there was no choice, you'd be in favor of letting people murder each other, letting people grape each other, letting people torture each other?
Yes, according to you, you should be fine with that. If you believe that this is a predetermined world, then there is no crime, then done. This debate is over. And because you don't follow that, rather you believe in crime, you contradict yourself. Done. Mic drop.
Because, well, there's no choice.
I never said that. I'm asking your
Well,
contradiction here.
that's what, like again, what's the contradiction? Show me the contradiction.
You said you're agnostic to free.
It's still so good that he keeps begging her for the contradiction. I don't understand why she's not pointing out the contradiction as we practiced. I don't know.
Well,
that's not a contradiction. You have to have two opposing viewpoints at the same time. Just because you disagree with my position on free will, that's not a contradiction. A contradiction implies there has to be two opposing beliefs that you hold at the same time. What are the two opposing beliefs?
The fact that you have a preference, which by the way means that you are choosing a preference.
You can't choose. Okay, so
no, yeah, he can choose. He already said it's an illusion. He's entitled to choose as much as he wants, and he could say, "Yeah, I'm just following my pre-programming."
You can't choose all preferences, and again, it's assumed in a deterministic universe that choice is an illusion. So,
yeah, I completely agree with Senor Lichald.
Did you choose your sexual preferences? Did you choose to be attracted to men or women?
I don't know. You tell me. You're the one.
Well, okay, wait.
No. And you don't have to answer the question because he's shifting the discussion onto you. He wants to know where his contradiction lies. So, yeah.
If you're saying you can choose your preferences, then why can't you choose your sexual preferences? Right. So what you said is nonsense. You can't choose your preferences, at least not all of them. So again, what is the contradiction?
You can choose whether or not you murder a carnivorous animal.
Well, you're assuming that. I don't know if it's a choice. It may be an illusion of a choice, but I do know that I have a preference against murder, and based on that preference, I would prefer to have carnivorous animals murdered to prevent more murders. So again, what is the contradiction?
So overall, how can you be in favor of rights violations if you're in favor of violating the rights of carnivorous
Okay,
animals?
do you not like the idea of killing other human beings?
No, I don't like the idea of
Okay, but you said earlier a few minutes ago that you would kill Hitler to prevent him from killing 6 million Jews. So does that make you a hypocrite, or are there another set of values that actually explains why you'd be in favor of killing Hitler? Like again, you're just being thick-headed and disingenuous. So again, what is the contradiction? You keep claiming I made a contradiction. What is the contradiction? Spell it out. It should only take you one sentence. It's easy.
It's very good. He's correct. Pointing out the contradiction should only take one sentence. So, but I don't know why she refuses to say it.
Made a contradiction. You said in our previous debate. Here's an example of a contradiction. You claimed that mental capacity both does and doesn't grant a human being a right to life.
Now he's switching topics. I told her he's going to do that. So, I mean, I'm not even blaming him because he's trying to figure out why she says that he contradicted himself, which I completely understand.
Life. That is an example of a.
So at this point, maybe he's bored. And he's trying to bring up more topics.
Contradiction you made in our previous debate. So again, that's all you have to do for me. Show me a contradiction that I hold an opposing viewpoint. I both believe and don't believe X.
You can't be against murder, but also be in favor of it at the same time. That is a contradiction.
So you
because you cannot murder murderers Well, it's just the word. Obviously, you're executing murderers. You're not murdering murderers. And if you are, why can't you be against? I don't understand. That's not a contradiction.
Contradicted yourself?
No, because I have a different definition of what murder actually is.
No, I'm sorry. We're going by the same definition of murder. I'm quite sure. Unlawful killing.
Unlawful killing. Yeah, so by
Right.
the definition of murder, unlawful.
Okay. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. Unlawful killing. I mean, is a bear eating an animal, is that, would you define that as unlawful killing? Where is the law? There's no such law, so it's not unlawful. So that's not murder.
You can have a different moral standing on what is unlawful and what is not.
Well, again, this is question begging. So you already know that I hold the position that animals should have the same rights as human beings. So that's just
All right,
question
so
begging.
animals should have the same rights. So if animals should have the same rights as human beings, you should put all beavers and ducks in jail because they grape each other naturally.
Maybe, but that would again like annihilate that species if the only way they reproduce is
Wait, we're only. What is this? 3? Oh no, I'm looking at the clock because it's live. Okay.
by graping each
And you
other.
would be annihilating all carnivorous animals if you were to kill them.
Yeah,
because the
yes,
only
and that would
live
prevent a
species-
greater degree of rights violations. In the grape
Yeah,
analogy, I'm not convinced that would prevent a greater degree of rights violations. Like, I would prefer a species to grape each other than get completely wiped off the planet if their overall well-being is adequate. So
Right, he doesn't have a problem with grape. That's just his preference. But I thought he wants to reduce rights violations. So if you would not have this species, you would not have rights violations. That's a contradiction. So you want to reduce rights violations, but there is grape and you're not against grape. So you just contradicted yourself.
again, what is the contradiction? I keep asking you, and I never get an answer. What is the contradiction?
You're creating a perpetual cycle of violence.
No, I'm not.
A perpetual cycle of violence is not a contradiction.
No, so are you creating a perpetual cycle of violence when you kill Hitler to prevent 6 million Jew deaths?
Murder is not murder is a contradiction, and murder, as defined, is unlawful killing. I don't define unlawful killing by carnivorous acts by animals. I don't
That's
define
question begging.
what carnivorous animals do as murder.
That is question begging. You already know my position, so that's just question begging.
I don't define.
I don't even know what he's referring to at this point with the question. I mean, assuming the conclusion, what I don't know, I'm not following, not tracking.
What carnivorous animals do as murder.
That's great, and I do. So that's question begging. Do you understand what question begging is?
Yes,
You're making a premise that assumes the truthfulness of the conclusion. You're basically saying it isn't murder because it isn't murder. And again, we've gone over this. If you disagree with my definition of murder, that it's possible for either a human being or an animal to murder another animal, then name the trait. Name the trait that's lacking in animals. If lacking in humans, it would not be murder if a human or an animal were to kill. That trait equalized human.
We don't need to discuss name the trait because she hasn't proposed a distinction between humans and animals. As far as I know, that's not on the table right now.
You can't be in favor of protecting rights by violating rights.
Yeah, so you literally just
But that's not a contradiction. Wait, you cannot be. But it's not murder. He just wants to reduce rights violations. So according to him, he doesn't define it as murder. You need to start with his assumptions. He doesn't define that as murder. He is reducing rights violations.
proved you can. So you would be violating the rights of Hitler, but you'd be protecting a greater degree of rights by killing Hitler. So you literally just proved we can. We take away rights all the time. We put criminals in jail because it's in the interest of protecting a greater degree of rights and freedoms. So you're wrong, and you proved with your own words that you're wrong. So again, if you're going to disagree with me that you can murder an animal, then name a trait. Name the trait that's lacking in animals. That if lacking in a trait equalized human being, it would not be.
I don't even know why he's going to humans. I mean, he is winning the debate about animals. I don't see why he's going to humans.
Murder to kill that trait equalized human being.
All right, so you're kind of dodging the question here.
No, I've answered all your questions. So it seems that we have a fundamental disagreement here on what constitutes murder, and that seems to be why you think I'm.
That's actually correct. There is a disagreement exactly on what is murder. That according to you, you should not define murder, yet you use this word, which should not mean anything according to you, because if you're free will agnostic, then there is no choice. No choice, no crime. No crime, no murder. So you cannot have the word murder and be agnostic to free will. You can be agnostic to murder, but you cannot have murder.
Contradicting myself.
Are you okay with murder? How are you okay with murdering carnivores? Answer the question. Why are you okay with it?
I already answered that, I think, about 20 times now. It's because it prevents a greater degree of rights violations. For the same reason you want to kill
Yeah, he's trying to understand her.
Hitler to prevent him from killing 6 million Jews. I want to kill carnivorous animals for that, to prevent them from killing their prey species. So again,
Alright, so
if you're going to
first of all-
disagree with my definition of murder, then name the trait that's lacking in animals, that if lacking in a trait equalized human being, it would not
He's going to name the trait.
be murder
Alright,
to kill that trait equalized human being.
First of all, there are more carnivores than herbivores on this planet, so therefore, if you were to kill carnivores or cull them, you would be violating more rights.
So I specifically mentioned odd order predators in our previous debate. So predators
Odd order predators?
that have a lower population than prey species.
Predators that have a lower population than prey? Oh, so that he would end up murdering very few, killing very few predators. Okay.
Okay. Let's see. So you would be okay with destroying ecosystems then?
Well, it depends on the ecosystem. You wouldn't necessarily be destroying the ecosystem by taking
Now she's going to ecosystems. I don't know why she's doing this.
out certain carnivorous animals, like the wolves in Yellowstone would be a good example of that.
Actually, that's a really horrible example because they reintroduced wolves to Yellowstone because of the way that it was destroyed, because of the way that.
Yeah, so you didn't read the follow-up paper, did you? The authors of the original paper retracted their original paper and said they were wrong about everything. Wolves were not impacting the environment at all. Actually, poaching was, and natural changes in climate and weather. So you didn't read the follow-up paper, did you?
You're also failing to mention.
So you didn't read the follow-up paper, did you?
beavers.
So you didn't know that the authors retracted their original paper, right? They disavowed their original paper. You didn't know that, huh?
Oh my God, this
And
is
so you're just going.
So I'm not wrong.
this is very painful. Oh, 4 more minutes, I guess. Then we'll call it quits.
Wrong about the wolves in Yellowstone. So will you admit that I wasn't wrong about the wolves in Yellowstone? So again, the wolves in Yellowstone, they were not affecting the.
Yes, you're right about the wolves in Yellowstone. Her claim about the balance of species, carnivores versus herbivores, whatever. Yeah, you don't need apparently the carnivores. I don't think we need natural life. I mean, I actually agree with him. We should reduce the population of all carnivorous animals in the wild. That would be terrific as a first step. I would also destroy all life in nature. I don't like any life in nature. I think it's disgusting. Like no one needs it. Everyone wants the New York City skyline. Everyone prefers the New York City skyline. That's the most beautiful skyline in the world. We should just have that. And yeah, I agree with him that it would be a good idea to dispose of definitely all bears because where I live, there's always not I mean in New York State there's always bears when you go upstate. There's always fear of a bear coming out to bite you. Not fun.
The behavior of elk. They were not contributing to the growth of flora and fauna. They were not reducing elk populations, only poaching was. This was stated by the authors who disavowed their original paper. So I wasn't wrong about the wolves in Yellowstone?
Then pull up the paper. I want to see the paper.
Let me see.
Yeah, that's never a good idea if you have a paper warfare. That becomes really boring.
Yeah, I can do a quick Google search, but wolves, Yellowstone, authors, disavow original paper.
And if it was poaching, then wouldn't that be another source of killing?
Sorry?
If there was poaching involved, isn't that another
Yeah,
source
so
of killing?
only poaching was actually reducing the elk population, not what you
What
call.
about What about
I'm
seasonal
sorry, I
changes?
think I actually have this on Discord.
Isn't poaching illegal?
Yeah, it is, but that was the only thing that was actually reducing the wolf population. And or sorry, not the wolf population, the deer population. So I can link this to you in chat if you want to read it.
And what about the beavers too? Because the wolves also helped out with the beavers.
No,
From what I
so once the beavers left, the wolves had it. You have to read the paper, but reintroducing wolves didn't reintroduce beavers. So you can read that. Again, so you said that killing an animal is not murder. So name the trait that's lacking in animals that if lacking in human beings would make it not murder to kill trait equalized human beings. Like you seem to think that's a contradiction of some sort.
I didn't know that she made a distinction. I think she hinted at a distinction, which is a mistake. She should not have done that.
So what exactly?
You're not answering the question. So you said I'm wrong about it being murder to kill animals. So again,
Well, first of
if it's
all,
not murder, then I
He's laser focused on this debate, and I don't know why. I mean, she's just stumbling around trying to find an argument that she can win but he's had this type of debate literally hundreds of times. He knows the dialogue tree inside and out, so it's very difficult to win against him. I mean, I can, of course, dispose of him, but he wouldn't let me on. But for normal people, it's very difficult to win. And he's not even using dirty tricks at this point. He usually uses, I mean, not usually, but a lot he uses dirty tricks.
I want to know what principles you decide what is and isn't murder. So name a trait that's lacking in animals that if lacking in human beings would make it not murder to kill trait equalize human beings.
Well, first of all, it doesn't necessarily make a ton of sense what you're saying because carnivorous animals.
Yeah, so can you answer my question? I've been answering your questions for like the last 20 minutes.
Carnivorous animals consume other species.
That's not a trait, and we consume other species, so.
All right, so I don't consider that murder.
Okay, but I asked you to name the trait. Like, you consider it murder for me to kill you, but you wouldn't consider it murder for me to kill any other animal,
Well,
like a
first
chicken.
of all, if you're killing me, you're just leaving my body on the side of the road.
I could eat you. I could eat you.
That's cannibalism. Cannibalism
Okay.
is not the same thing. That's the carnivorous act.
Yes, it is.
No,
You think carnivorous animals don't eat each other? You can find examples of wolves eating each other. There's plenty of insects that commit cannibalism.
And cannibalism is the act of an organism consuming another organism of the same species, and it's
Yes.
generally done in the meat. Now, a carnivorous.
Okay, I think we're done. It's been an hour and I need to go to sleep. This is kind of I wouldn't say depressing, but I would like to talk to her because I spoke to her for 2 nights in a row when we prepared, and I'm really confused why she didn't employ the tactics that we came up with. She completely ignored all our preparation, basically. Not all, but a lot of it. Really strange. Okay. I mean I warned her that it's not gonna end well. I warned her that it's very difficult to debate him. And we had a perfect tactic because I knew that I saw his reaction when she texted him. So I knew that it's a good tactic, but she decided not to employ it. I don't know why. Anyway, I'm gonna stop here and I'm gonna go to sleep. Have a great rest of your life, everyone. Bye bye.